This is the Entertainment Channel.
By now, I guess just about everybody's heard about the Animal Express. To tell you the truth, I hadn't heard about it before we started meeting like this. No wonder. There's never been anything like it. It's the Entertainment Channel's way of introducing you and your family to some of the most interesting animals around. And in addition to animal watching, you get to watch the beautiful Joan Embrey every week. She's some kind of wildlife. Try to restrain yourself, will you? Now, let's see what Joan has rounded up for next month on the Animal Express. Really?
Today at SeaWorld, I'm going to let an octopus wrap its tentacles around my arm, and I'm going to tell you what these marvelous creatures are really like. Aquarium supervisor Carl Jantz took me behind the scenes at SeaWorld for a close look at this surprisingly intelligent and personable creature.
All octopus have 8 tentacles. That's a characteristic trait of their subclass. When the octopus is after an animal like a fish, one that's highly mobile, what it does is it spreads his arms out, forming like an umbrella with this membrane between the arms, and tries to corner the fish or animal in a crevice and throws its body over top of him.
It feels like a wet chamois. That's just what it feels like. Now, how much does he weigh?
This one here probably weighs 30 or 40 pounds.
He's really got a hold of me. Now, look at the red spots on my hand.
Yeah, It's pulling so hard, it's pulling the blood to the surface of the skin. There's one trick that usually works in getting an octopus to release. You squeeze his tentacles, and he usually lets go.
A creature which changes color with every mood, which has a brain more complex than any other invertebrate, and which possesses an armful of swimming and hunting skills, to say the least. Such is the surprising octopus.
Did you get a load of that octopus? Imagine the kind of pickpocket this guy would make. Yeah, a real glad-hander. You know, you hear a lot about television games these days. Pac-Man, Space Invaders. My brother-in-law is the original Space Invader. He came to town for a comic book convention 6 months ago, and he's been invading my space ever since. Well, I don't know about that kind of Space Invader, but I do know about another kind of television game. It's called Just for Fun, and you play it at home. All it takes is a pencil and a little bit of imagination. The whole family can really get into it. Here's a sample for November with host Bill Boggs.
Our next game is 9 easy pieces. This time from the life and times of a distinguished American hero. 100 points or less. See how quickly you can put the 9 easy pieces together. General-in-Chief of the Confederate Armies during the Civil War, Robert E. Lee.
Do you know Roger doesn't live here anymore? Nobody told me. He was here last month. Well, he's back this month. Roger Doesn't Live Here Anymore is the kind of realistic domestic comedy that the Entertainment Channel is becoming famous for. A hilarious story that draws you along week after week, episode after episode. This month, Roger's wife is planning to get a divorce, and she intends to make things as unpleasant as possible.
You'll make his life a misery.
Sorry.
Roger's life a living hell.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
During the divorce proceedings, Roger's wife makes sure she's turning the children against him.
Tell me 3 of the most wicked men in history. You start, Arabella.
Nero,
Yes. Charles?
Attila the Hun,
Yes. And?
One more.
Daddy.
But even though Roger doesn't live here anymore, he still occasionally visits.
And Cyril Swan, of course.
Good to see you again.
Sorry, have we met?
Just the once, Roger. Just the once.
Oh, yes, I remember. You buried Arabella's hamster in the garden, didn't you? In a pencil box.
Cyril married us, Roger.
But Roger isn't successful at being alone.
You young men are a disgrace to your flag, your queen, and your commonwealth.
Yes, I know about that.
So first he tries to go back to his wife.
But we were more than friends. We were lovers. Well, at least before we were married.
Then to his girlfriend.
Yes, you're putting your trousers on back to front.
But whatever happens,
I'll explain everything later.
he's determined to be friends with his children. Roger doesn't live here anymore. One of the things I'm really looking forward to in November is seeing Dirty Dishes.
Big deal. At my house, we got some left over from October.
No, I mean the terrific French movie called Dirty Dishes. It's an adult story starring the lovely actress Carol Lore, and it's all about love, boredom, and daily frustration.
Great. It'll take my mind off of love, boredom, and daily frustration.
You're just going to love Dirty Dishes. Let's have a look. She might seem like just another housewife. Nice husband, cute kids, plenty of time to laze around during the day. But something's not right in our Mel's domestic heaven on earth. It's all those mundane little details. Wake everyone up. Feed them and send the husband off to work. Take the kids to school. And come back home to face a table full of dirty dishes. Dirty Dishes. It's about a woman who married young and who winds up bored to tears. It's about soothing visits to the hairdresser and her one big shot at a TV commercial. She's not the greatest homemaker in the world, and she can't even get the car fixed without making a mess of things. Dirty Dishes. A sensitive, provocative portrait of a housewife who just can't seem to break free.
You know what really turns me on? That guy, Eddie Shoelace. Oh, he's my kind of gumshoe, as Bogey used to say.
First of all, it's shoestring, not shoelace. And second, nobody calls anybody a gumshoe anymore. And thirdly, it's Mr. Bogart to you.
Okay, okay. What's Mr. Bogart to you up to this month?
Oh, no. Eddie Shoestring. They're hopeless. He's up to plenty. Action, adventure, murder, intrigue.
Sounds like my last union meeting.
And beautiful women.
That doesn't sound like my last union meeting.
Eddie Shoestring. Here's a preview. Eddie Shoestring's on another case. It's a lot of legwork, but no detective is better than our Shoestring.
And now, with his ear to the ground and his nose to the grindstone and his feet firmly planted on the necks of poor unfortunate villains, Eddie Shoestring.
Listeners call in to get his help, while Radio West picks up the tab.
What this case is all about. Well, it's as intriguing as the Maltese Falcon.
And as expensive as Ben-Hur.
It looks like blackmail.
Please. This has got to be the last time. I told you.
But before it's over, Shoestring will be spying,
I've got to let them know.
eavesdropping,
Okay, provisional.
and maybe getting himself killed.
Either you're going to make sandwiches or you're a homicidal maniac.
What on earth's going on here? Can't we talk without me feeling I'm there and you get halfway through a sentence?
He was worried by the shooting.
For mystery and danger every week, Shoestring. This next film is a marvelous comedy called The Magnificent Dope. It's all about an open, impressionable, honest, all-American hero who gets mixed up in a crazy get-rich-quick scheme. It stars that brilliant actor, Henry Fonda, who I had the privilege of co-starring with in the film Yours, Mine, and Ours. This is an unusual part for him. It's not a Mr. Roberts type here. This is a whole other side of a great American performer. The Dwight Dawson School of Success is going down the tubes unless someone can come up with a gimmick.
A contest for the greatest failure.
Yes, that has possibilities.
Yes, it certainly has.
Now, after we find our failure, we put him through the course. And when he comes out the other end of the line of success, everybody will know about the Dawson Institute.
And the winner of this unusual contest is Tad Page, played by Henry Fonda.
All I know is I wake up in the morning happy. I go to bed at night happy. I'm just happy.
So the lessons begin. But having Tad in the classroom has its problems.
You don't have to take this course. You're a success already. It's sabotage, that's what it is.
He's learning how to influence people awful fast.
Claire wants to know more about Tad.
Oh, no. I've got no respect for anybody who was born lazy. That's like being born a king. They didn't do anything to get there.
And when Tad falls in love with her...
You mean you have met somebody? Oh, you in love with her?
Yep. Sure am.
Dawson spurs him on.
No one else. Means that you've got to work hard and prove to her that you're the better man. And we're here to help you.
But the whole plot will fall apart if Tad finds out Claire is already engaged to Dawson.
I tell you, he's sure to hear somebody say something about you and Claire. We can't let him. We've got to keep everybody from talking. Well, my wife's here. She hasn't stopped talking in 20 years. Well, we can't let her get started.
Claire, darling, I was wondering, when are you and Dwight going...
Oh! Mammy's little baby love, short, Mammy's little baby love, short, bread.
It's vintage American movie mirth with Don Amici as Dawson and Edward Everett Horton.
Go my way, lady.
For love and laughter, don't miss Henry Fonda and Lynn Barry in The Magnificent Dope. Hey, what's the matter? You got some kind of secret vice or something?
2.
What are they?
Potato chips.
What's the other one?
Not now.
Well, I've got just one. Whodunits. And take it from a real addict. Target is a new thriller you're going to love for November. The boss of the operation is Detective Superintendent Hackett. He's tough-minded, knows what he wants, and almost always...
You want to roll tape, or do I finish the whole bag?
Roll tape. We're entering the undercover world of the 13th Regional Crime Squad, headed by Detective Superintendent Stephen Hackett.
I want around-the-clock surveillance on our old friend, Grafter Maynard, starting now.
Hackett's target is crime.
I like see from it, but looks foreign to me.
What kind of foreign?
That kind of foreign.
Safecrackers, jewel thieves, every kind of villain. Hackett is a no-nonsense guy, a bulldog cop who won't stand for murder. There's a new crime in Target every week.
It's a clear case of harassment. I won't stand for it.
Well, then sit for it.
Filled with gangsters, girls.
Well, I've got 2 weeks' leave coming up. Maybe you could book me onto one of those cheap charter flights to Spain.
You never know your luck.
Maybe you could check the hotel with me as well.
Turn out your pockets.
And plenty of action. It's the game of cops and killers the way you like it. Fast-paced, dangerous, exciting. Target. I know it's November, but I'm still thirsty for the last of the summer wine. That series never runs dry for me. Those 3 old codgers don't seem to know the meaning of retirement.
Do you think we're going to have as much fun as those last of the summer wine guys when we're senior citizens?
Oh, sure, but we've got a lot of years left before that happens to us.
That's not what my wife says.
My wife says she hopes the best is yet to come.
Well, she won't have any trouble finding somebody new.
I just hope I can be as alive as you when I get to be your age.
You were.
Here's the last of the summer wine. Now, isn't it nice to know that getting older doesn't always mean getting wiser when you're retired like Foggy, Clegg, and Campo, our heroes in Last of the Summer Wine. Foggy's an ex-military man and never lets anyone forget it.
Our life dedicated to the martial arts requires certain sacrifices.
Clegg's bewildered by life as we know it.
Funny things, feet. If they were turned the other way round, we'd be able to stand much closer to walls.
And Campo? Well, he may not be life at all.
Do you think I should leave my body to medical science?
Yes, and as quickly as possible.
These three friends get into all sorts of adventures.
You can't just steal somebody's giant plastic carrot.
But you can try. It's grand larceny vegetable style.
I am determined to seize the moment.
And if sometimes things get a little out of hand, well, they still have their friendship. Last of the summer wine, the misadventures of three delightful old friends. Mind if I ask you a personal question? Have you been watching much of the other kind of television lately? Well, there are some good shows, all right. But who knows how long some of them are going to last. Occasionally, the winners get zapped right along with the losers. It's a shame. You remember Skag, for example? That Carl Malden, what a man. Well, if you've been watching the Entertainment Channel, you know that that's what limited edition is all about. A second chance for some of the best of the great shows. Now you'll know all over again why audiences and critics call them classics. Pete Skagska was strong enough to come back from a stroke to his job at a Pittsburgh steel mill. But does he have the strength to face a changing world and his changing family?
But as long as you're living in my house, you won't do what you please.
Carl Malden is Skag, a hard worker.
There's nothing the men on the crew wouldn't do for me, and there's nothing I wouldn't do for them.
And a devoted family man.
She's going to get hurt. I know she's going to get hurt.
Piper Laurie is his wife, Jo.
They're just babies at 15. How are you supposed to make a decision like that?
Skag, a loving disciplinarian put to the test of love by his children.
It's my life. I can do what I want.
Not quite.
She's pregnant.
I want you to know that whatever happens, you're part of us. And always will be. I don't want you to see him again.
Why?
Because I say so. That ought to be enough.
No, it's not enough.
If she hears you talk like that, we've lost her forever.
I want to live with
You get out of my house.
You're not a father, you're a crazy man. You're a beast.
It's the story of a family with all too real problems, of a father trying to cope with a world he can't always understand,
Dele pockets fired down.
and a love that binds despite everything. As you can see, November on the Entertainment Channel has something for everybody. Cloris Leachman on Broadway, Joan Embrey at the San Diego Zoo, Bill Boggs playing games, the Family Feuds at Penn Merrick, Mackenzie acting like J.R. Ewing, action-adventure, comedy, and a whole lot more. So stay tuned, won't you? And oh yes, have a nice turkey.
Thanks. You too.
And while you're thinking about Thanksgiving, I'll be unwrapping the presents for December on the Entertainment Channel. I have to confess, I peaked already.
You can say that again.
Presents like the Guthrie Theater's production of Dickens' immortal A Christmas Carol, Woman in White, the great classic novel by Wilkie Collins, and a whole new series of the zany adventures of Kelly Monteith. So, a happy November to one and all. I'm Tom Bosley.
And so am I.
Nevertheless, see you next month.
Thank you.